Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. I wanted to give you an update on the Imperial Model 711 reel. And of course, a lot of folks came through and helped me to start identifying this reel. Armando told me that this has very much the looks of a Langley reel. And the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that's exactly what this reel is. It's got an aluminum case to it. It's got a design very similar to Langley. And of course, Armando mentioned there may also be a Zebco. Well, here's the thing. Zebco bought Langley in the 1950s. I'm thinking 57 or 58. And they produced the Langleys for a while. They bought it as an entry into their spinning reel line. And then when they got comfortable with it, I guess, they converted their line over to Shakespeare, and they eventually eliminated the Langley. Well, we had done a tune-up on this. You saw that in the video that was produced the other day. And I left you hanging because, well, we had a piece that was broken off the back of the reel. Scott had sent me it in two pieces and suggested that I cold weld it with an epoxy. And, well, that's what I did. So I just want to show you a little bit about it. It's not totally cured yet, but I used J B Weld. And J B Weld, like most epoxies, is a two-part epoxy. The first one is the actual material. This one's apparently is the epoxy with steel webbing in it. So it's almost like a fiberglass where you have those strands in there which are supposed to kind of knit together and make that tighter. That's in the black side. And then we have the hardener in the white side. So like all epoxies, this is a two-part setup. And what you want to do is you want to get equal parts of the white and the black. And that's exactly how it comes out of the tube. The one will come out black, the other will come out white. And whenever you're working on an epoxy, don't cheat yourself. Don't try and save a little dot or a dab there. You want to put a good amount on there, and I would say, if even though you don't need a lot, maybe something the size of your cap for both of these would be appropriate. And then what you are going to do is you're going to get a stirrer. Now I have these stirrers from using epoxy on rod, but get something that's not going to contaminate the epoxy. In this case, it's a plastic stirrer. And you want to stir both together until you have a consistent color. That consistent color in this case is going to be gray. Now, when I use the epoxies for the eyelet finishers, it's clear, but you will see in those clear epoxies that it will turn to a milky color as you're stirring, and it's going to incorporate, you'll see some air bubbles come up, you'll see some other things that'll tell you that you've got it well done. Well, once you do the epoxy, well, this one is kind of got a flat spoon to it as well, but get something that's not going to leave anything behind when you're stirring. So don't use a cotton swab or anything that's going to leave pieces in that stir. When you're done, a little bit of a application. In this case, we were fortunate. We had a rather clean break, and I was able to cement on, and I'll call this a clean break. Even though it's a jagged edge, the other piece kind of fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. It was pretty much straightforward in design. Don't overload, but put enough on both sides that you'll get a good firm backing to it, and then let it sit. Now this one was particularly difficult because there's no way to clamp this. There's no way to put down that pressure. So what I did was I was able to clamp this into a vise, let that initial set occur, and then just walk away from it. Well, right now it's pretty much done. We're going to give it to Scott and see if he can make it work. I guess over time, this says there's a 4 to 6 hour setup and a 15-hour cure. I'm just about 15 hours now, so I'm just going to leave this for the moment. We're not going to do anything with this. We're just going to let it go. And actually, I'm going to send it back to Scott this way. You could probably sand this off, and we'll see if it holds. We'll see if it holds. I haven't done a lot of those broken feet, but most of the time I don't do the broken feet because that other piece isn't there. And we did get a comment in on the section. One of the fellows that follows the channel, he's a welder, and he said that you can get somebody to tack weld this. It's aluminum, so you have to be careful about it, and you're not always successful. But he said that if you find a trained welder, which I am not, you could potentially get somebody to do this. So that's a thought. That's how you do the process. Again, you're going to mix equal parts of the hardener and the epoxy base. You're going to set it, and you're going to forget it. You're going to walk away from that, and some cure times are short, some are longer. This one was like I said, a 4 to 6 hour setup and a 15-hour cure. And it said kind of, I think I threw the one part out, but it kind of said 15 to 24 hours to cure and allow 4 to 6 hours before handling, 15 hours before putting the object back into use. So that's kind of where we are with this. We're at a point now where I guess it could go back to use. I always err on the side of caution. I always like to let this stuff sit. On a real, when you're doing a rod and you're using the epoxies to coat the threads of that, most of the time you're going to find it's temperature sensitive. You need to be at least at 50 degrees for it to have that chemical reaction properly, and you need to take your time. That's why they sell these rotators for the rods. You hook a rod in, and it's got a motor that will rotate the rod completely in circles. That'll make sure that any of the wet pieces don't dry on you in a bubbling or a tearing kind of effect. It keeps it rotating for smooth design. And again, just like this epoxy, it's not quick acting. It's going to take some time, and you just need to be aware of that. So that's the update on the Imperial 711. We had a broken wheel seat. We'll see if it's a survivor. I hope that Scott takes the opportunity to put this one on a rod. He still has enough left on the bottom of the foot here to do that. And we'll see if he can take it fishing and see if it's something that can perform okay without that piece falling off again. It was 50-50 to me in terms of what that opportunity is. What's not 50-50 to me is the service and support that our first responders and essential personnel give us. Never in question. I want to thank all of our first responders and essential personnel for everything they are doing and have done during the pandemic to keep us safe. Your efforts truly are appreciated. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for your continuing unwavering efforts in pursuit of your careers. I do appreciate it. So, if you have any questions on this or anything in particular, please leave them in the comment section. I'll be happy to try and reply to you. If you're an expert in epoxy, I'm not, but if you're an expert in it and you want to add something, please do that in the comments as well. And to everybody, please stay safe, stay well, and stay watching. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.